I call Gino the biggest scammer, and I want to explain why I call him a scammer.
Welcome back to 90 Day Fiancé Behind the Drama. We're joined today by one of my personal faves, Jasmine. How are you feeling, Jasmine? Are you ready to get into everything that happened on last night's episode?
Yes, I am super excited.
Now, we picked up with you and Gino. He was feeling a bit more understanding, actually, about you staying the night over at a friend's house. Were you surprised by his reaction?
Well, the thing is that the place we're at stay is a friend that we have in common. So he could easily confirm that I was there. I know I'm not very proud about what I did, like reflecting on me going for 3 nights in a row, basically disappearing and purposely not letting him know where I was or that at least I was safe. It's just give you an idea that before going to the retreat, like we were in such a bad place as a couple, and it was very hard for us even to share the same space. I really needed like a break because I felt like I was suffocating myself, and that's why I did what I did, which is not like justifiable excuse, but I'm just being honest.
And what were you thinking when he was accusing you of cheating on him? Were you expecting him to say that?
I was not expecting him to say that because he knows that one of the main rules, like the non negotiable rules in our marriage, even when we were just dating as boyfriend and girlfriend and then fiancés back in Panama, that I was back in Panama in a long distance relationship, number one rule, it's just to be faithful. Okay. That was something that it doesn't matter therapy or whatever, that would be something that will cross the line for both of us, and we will just decide to take separate ways. So he knew that I actually came up with that rule because I'm a super jealous person and I'm very possessive and I don't like to share. So when it comes to the person that I love, so he knows me, and he also knows my love history in the past, like the two relationships that I have in the past, I was the one cheating on, and he knows how much that hurt me back in the day. And I will never do that to anyone, especially to him, because I truly love Gino. So it was like a low, blow. I was not expecting that, took me by surprise. And yeah, I was in shock to hear that accusation. We are like a very big, happy, dysfunctional family that is going on vacation nowhere in the wilderness to receive therapy. If we get lost in the desert and we have to survive and we are cannibals, I will eat Benny for sure. Because
you like the muscle.
the muscle, maybe like that's gonna like nourish my body. That would be my first victim.
The group went to the desert for a therapy bonding exercise. Watching it back, were you surprised by any of the interactions with the other couples? Rob and Sophie seemed to really be having a lot of issues.
Yes, and the way I see Rob and Sophie was different from the other couples because I already knew them. We both have both of our weddings, in the show, and they were like family to me. Like I know this couple, and then seeing them just their relationship going down the drain, and seeing that it just became worse after the last time that I saw them, it really broke my heart because I do care about both of them. I get along with both of them, and I was actually rooting for them, but I knew that they were in a bad place, but I could have never imagined that their relationship was that bad at the moment.
I saw the messages, clear as day. Sophie messaging Callum, her ex, don't tell Rob about us having sex. It's lie after lie after lie, and then she deflects and gaslights me and says, oh, well, that all happened when I was younger. No, you lying to me is now.
And who do you think was in the right or the wrong? Do you think that she should have told him about her past relationship, or do you think he was in the right to like be upset about that?
Well, I think that is like I blame both of them, because trying to be neutral and not to take sides, I understand both of their positions because Rob was hurt, know about the fact that she has a history, because I mean it's understandable that we all have a history. and we shouldn't be judged for our decisions in the past. What he was hurt about was she not letting him know about this sexual encounter with this guy, and especially because he met the guy, but at the same time I understand Sophie, because it's like, knowing Rob that he was going to be super jealous, she believed that she could get away with hiding the truth from him, and unfortunately that was not the case. And at the end of the day, by she trying to protect her feelings, what she did was just to hurt him even deeply. And, trust is a very important topic in their relationship. And, it just gives the impression that, okay, can I trust you from now on? What other things are you have you lied to me? So I understand both perspectives, but also, they're both very young. Is their first marriage, hopefully the last. We have to continue watching the show, and they will make it work. But they're very young and naive, and well, it's a life lesson learned the hard way for both of them.
The social media thing, I understand why you want it back, but you have never once said, I want my wife back. What do you want in regards to this relationship? Do you want it at all?
Yes, I want fixes this relationship.
Another couple that's having some big issues is Ari and Benny. They got into a major argument when he didn't want to carry her on his back. What was that like watching that back? I felt bad for her.
It's so hard with this couple. It's one, I don't want to compare, myself to other couples, but if you could give them a prize about the most broken couple marriage, it's them. And it's very sad, because actually they are the only couple in the retreat that have a child in common. So that is concerning. And it's like their relationship, it's so bad that even a small thing like a piggyback riding, it's going to trigger them. And I understand Benny that he feels like, why you're forcing me to do things when I don't feel comfortable. But it's just still like Ari is a very broken person. She's very hurt, and she is just like begging for attention. She's being very needy because she feels not loved. It really breaks my heart to see she crying and small things triggering her that way. It's like a mirror for me with my past marriage, and I know how it ended with the father of my children. Like, we broke up, and I was like, oh girl, I've been there. And unfortunately, based on my experience, maybe for her it's gonna be different. It doesn't get any better.
Keep your rock.
You guys
Because
okay?
you
over
never-
here?
K1 visa and your green card. Independence. You never want, and you know what? Gino, I'm gonna do it all by myself.
Keep your rock.
All right, let's let them take
Great.
a second. Let's take a second.
You're great. You made your point. That's it. Stay confident.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
During the exercise, you and Gino got into an argument after you had told him that you wanted your independence while living with him in the States. I know even his family has been on your side in the past, showing support for you, being like, why aren't you drive her more, take her more places? What was it like watching that moment back?
Well, it's hard to watch, because every time you watch those scenes, you kind of place yourself at that moment and at that emotion. And I was very mad. I was upset. And my problem is that sometimes, most of the time when I'm angry, I don't, my wording is not the best, I get mad and I start yelling, and it's a bad reaction that I have. I understand it. But you know what? I call Gino the biggest scammer. And I want to explain why I call him a scammer. Because, in this dynamic of the foreign person and the American person, there is always a tendency to see the American person that, the one taking advantage of, oh, the one being used because of the green card, because, oh, all they want is to come to America, the American dream, yada, yada. But it's very unfair because, no, it's important that people see the other side of the coin, which is like you have a foreign person that is coming to a country with certain expectations, okay? Because all the things that I was asking for, especially that drive me, help me get my independence, help me get my driver's license, and help me afford a car. And as I said, it doesn't have to be, Ferrari or anything, just like something I can move on, and transport myself. Especially, as a matter of fact, in Michigan, transportation where I live is not existent. You either take Uber or you walk or you have a car. And actually, Ubers are very expensive. So with that being said, what I was requesting was something that Gino promised back in Panama. Okay, it's not that I came to America and now I'm acting like a brat and I want him to handle the work to me because I am his wife. But these things are things that he promised. Okay, I would have never tried my life in Panama, even for love, girl. Okay, to come to the United States and put myself in such a vulnerable position in which, I don't have any sort of independence. I completely rely on him, and you promise you will support me. And at the end of the day, you don't do what you promised. That's why I was so frustrated. That why you get so mad? Why now are you telling me that you don't have the budget to buy me even a second-hand car? And you're saying like I am ungrateful. Why? What am I ungrateful for? So that's why I was so mad, and it's very frustrating because this is the thing. Whenever I promise something to someone, I don't know, I try so hard to make it happen. I hate empty promises. And empty promises is like the cancer of relationships in this dynamic of foreign people and American people. I have seen it multiple times. And that's why that is exactly what scamming is. You scam me because you brought me here, you promised something, and now you're not making it happen.
And at the end of the episode, you ended up calling your friend Matt. Can you share more about your friendship with him? And what do you think Gino's going to, how do you think he'll react when he finds out that you called your friend Matt?
Yes. It's like, first of all, I want to give you some background about that. It's when you are going through very, very deep emotions, like the one in that scene, I honestly, sincerely even forgot that the cameras were there. I was like, it was me and Gino and what we were going through. Now I'm watching that like, oh my goodness. And I call him and Gino's going to watch that. You are not thinking those things because you're so stuck in the moment. And I went out of the room. And when I was talking to Matt, and when I turned around, I was like, there were the cameras. I forgot about it. That's how mad I was. I was very frustrated. And Matt, all I can tell you is that back in the day, he was like my 911 person in the United States because my family was not aware of the marital problems I was having with Gino. They had no idea about how bad the situation was. I was kind of lying to them about my marriage. I was letting them know like, oh, everything is good. So I couldn't reach out to them, and also the very few friends that I have in America were mostly Gino's family. And they love me, and I appreciate that. I love them so much. They're my family now. But, it's like I didn't want to put them in such an uncomfortable situation because Gino is family. And so Matt was like the only neutral person that I had at that moment. And I needed to vent because I was thinking about leaving the retreat like for real. It's like, it's the same. I feel very like attacked by Gino. It's like once again the blaming on me for all the issues, not taking accountability. And I needed like someone neutral just to bring some light to so much darkness.
Natalie, she doesn't even know me, so I'm like, I don't understand why out of nowhere she's just sending for me when, what is she even talking about? If I was a lesser person and stooped down to her very mature level, I could just air out her whole business about her man messaging me and trying to fly me out to Vegas. But I don't need to do that because I'm clearly more mature than her, even though she's 3 times my age.
I said what I said, and I checked it already. So
What do you think, Natalie? How do you think she would react if she finds out that Josh was supposedly DMing Sophie?
It's not, oh my gosh, murder. That's for sure. It, oh my goodness. This is the thing, you know, that was so wrong from Josh because if you look at all the sides, right? Sophie, number one, is a married woman. He knows she is married to Josh. So why are you inviting a married woman to Vegas to begin with? And Josh is either stupid or out of his mind or both because he knows what he has. He has Natalie and he knows the kind of crazy she is. And you dare to DM another person that isn't the same circle because 90 days, we are all family. And these kind of things is like, you know, of course, these are going to come to the light later, sooner or later. So he's very brave for doing what he did. And trust me, if I was him, I would just move not only to a different country, girl, but to a different continent or to a different planet, okay, before this woman discovered what he did.
Well, also Natalie doesn't seem to hold back in any sort of way. She called Julia fat in the first episode, and in the teaser I saw that you and her are going to be getting into it later in the season. What can you tease about that?
Well, all I can tell you is that don't mess with Latinas. As simple as that. Maybe, you know, she has been very lucky because she's messing up with Julia. Julia's Russian. She has been messing up with other people, American people. But we Latinas, we are built up different, you know, and I'm not the kind of person that only barks and doesn't bite. I bark and I bite as well. Okay. I have a big mouth and I also know how to talk. So if you bother me, if you mess up with me, expect a bigger reaction because I don't take disrespect from anyone. And I don't care how crazy you are, how loud you are. I'm going to put you into your place. Okay. And that is me. That's all I can say. Either Natalie or any other person, I don't recommend anyone to mess up with me because you are going to have a big, big, big problem. I know myself. And yeah, I don't take these kind of things lightly.
Well, we're going to have to tune in for the rest of the season to see what happens with all of the drama. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jasmine. It was a pleasure to talk with you. One final question.
Yes.
Fans, and by fans, I mean me. I'm wondering, where was Coco? We missed her this season so far.
Coco's here. Coco. There he is. Look at him. I can tell you, girl, like I wish I could reincarnate in a dog like Coco. He has the best life ever. Okay, he's extremely spoiled. He's so happy. He's a baby. He doesn't identify like a dog. He identifies as a spoiled baby. And yes, he's like, you know, my best companion. I adore him. And yes, you're not gonna see Coco, unfortunately.
Not a pet-friendly resort.
Yeah, in the last resort, but he understands that mommy and daddy needed therapy. If there is someone that supported the idea of us going to that retreat, it's this tiny one in here. Trust me. Coco was like, yes, this is exactly what mommy and daddy need. So it was a huge sacrifice for us to leave him so many days. But actually, Gino's family was taking care of Coco while we were at the retreat. And I really, really appreciate that. They took very well care of Coco because he's family, you know.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much for tuning in to Behind the Drama. Make sure to check back every week for more with your 90 Day Fiancé fan faves. And make sure every Monday to check out 90 Day The Last Resort on TLC.